You're 12 years old, barefoot and laughing, chasing a dust-covered rooster through the dry yard outside your family's shack. Your feet are caked in earth, skin sunburnt, hair tangled into a crooked braid that sways with each step. The dirt is hot under your soles. The breeze smells faintly of rice husk and firewood. You're a child of the fields, hungry, free, and completely unremarkable. Your world is small, a cracked bowl of millet porridge, your mother's rough hand stroking your cheek, your father's tobacco-stained teeth as he grins through silence. You don't know about palaces or emperors. Your worries are limited to skipped meals and mosquito bites. Then you hear it, the crunch of wheels on gravel, the distant jangle of reins. You turn your head, and the world changes. A black lacquered carriage rolls into your village like a shadow, dragging the night behind it. Its surface gleams like oil, reflecting the sun in glints that sting your eyes. The horses snort and stamp, their flanks polished like bronze. Villagers freeze mid-step. Even the chickens scatter. This isn't a carriage meant for peasants. It doesn't belong here. A man steps out. Silk robes whisper against the wood. His face is carved from stone. No expression, no kindness. His eyes scan the crowd like a butcher sizing up meat. They stop on you. He walks forward. You want to run, but your legs forget how. His footsteps are soft, but they slam in your ears like drums. His shadow falls over you before you even realize he's close. He doesn't ask your name. He doesn't smile. He reaches out, grabs your chin, and turns your face left, then right. His fingers are cold and dry, like paper dipped in snow. You don't understand. Then his hands move, inspecting your teeth, your skin, your feet. You flinch when he grabs your ankle. He says nothing. His gaze moves like a ledger tallying up the weight of pigs at market. Your father watches from the doorway. He looks down at the ground, then back at the man, then at the sack of silver the stranger tosses into the dust. The clink of coins is louder than your mother's scream. You don't remember being pulled into the carriage. You just remember your mother chasing it, barefoot like you were a moment ago, tears carving rivers down her cheeks, mouth open in a silent wail. Her shape blurs behind the dust trail as the carriage rattles away. The rooster you were chasing flaps away into the fields. Gone. You are gone. Inside the carriage, the air is thick. It smells of sweat, perfume, and something worse, horse dung and fear. You're not sure if the sourness in your throat is from motion sickness or dread. Maybe both. You sit with 3 other girls. One's already crying. Another clutches a cloth doll so tight it might tear in half. No one speaks. You try to think, try to understand, but your thoughts crumble like dry rice cakes. You're not sold as a bride, not even as a servant. You're cargo now, just one more girl selected to serve in the Emperor's forbidden city. The whispers you've heard echo in your head like curses, girls like you don't come back. After a day, or maybe 3, the carriage stops. A towering red gate looms above you, lacquered so thick it looks like dried blood. Guards in iron helmets glance at you without interest. Eunuchs step forward. Their robes are crisp, their faces empty. They don't speak to you. They don't need to. You're herded like goats through the gates. Behind them, the palace opens like a painted nightmare. Vast, golden, and terrifying. Silk banners flutter overhead, perfumed wind masking something rotten beneath. The eunuchs point, and you follow. Then comes the stripping. You're ordered to remove your clothes. Not later. Now. You hesitate, and a bamboo cane cracks against your leg. Your knees buckle. You bite your lip and undress. Naked and shivering, you're lined up with the others under the blazing sun. Hands prod your ribs, your spine, your neck. A girl is pulled from a line because her nose is crooked. Another is kept because her feet are the right size, small enough to bind. And then it's your turn. A eunuch lifts your foot, turns it in his palm like it's a ripe fruit at market. He grunts, barely acceptable. Later, they explain what acceptable means. Foot binding. You're seated on a wooden stool, and your feet, your strong, callous feet that have chased chickens and waded through patties, are about to be destroyed. Hot water, soak cloth, and then the breaking starts. First the toes, curled under until they snap. Then the arch, folded like paper, bandaged in silk soaked in herbs and vinegar. Pain, they say, is the price of beauty. But you know it's not beauty they want. It's obedience. Weak, hobble girls don't run. You scream until your throat goes dry. No one comes. The next day, you wake in a haze of agony. Your feet throb like they've been chewed by wolves. You can't stand. You can barely breathe. But there's no time for rest. You're dragged down a corridor of silk screens and gold trim to begin your new life, or what's left of it. Seeing your concubines glide past like ghosts wrapped in silk. Their eyes flick toward you, sharp as needles. One sneers. Another laughs under her fan. You're not a sister. You're competition. Your first task is simple. Serve tea. You pour too slowly. A slap cracks across your cheek. The sting is nothing compared to your feet, but the shame burns hotter. You lower your eyes. You don't cry. That's a luxury you can't afford. You're learning quickly. You're not in a palace. You're in a battlefield. The rules are simple. Obey. Charm. Survive. Because one wrong move, you won't just be punished. You'll disappear. You'll feed off screaming, but no one listens. They've wrapped them in silk soaked in herbs, but it's not for healing. It's to muffle the blood. You're seated on a low stool in a sterile chamber with red columns and tiled dragons grinning from the ceiling. The walls are thin, and from behind them, you can hear the cries of other girls being broken. You don't want to look down, but you do. Your feet, the same feet that chased chickens, danced in summer rain, and ran through muddy rice paddies, are gone. Now they are twisted into swollen knots, bound so tightly your toes have vanished under the arch. The bones were crushed yesterday. Now they are molding you into something else. Lotus feet, they call them. Lotus, a flower, a symbol of purity, grace, beauty. And yet nothing has ever felt less pure than this agony drilling into your bones like hot needles. Your skin splits. Blood seeps through the bandages. You can feel your own body turning against itself. Sounds elegant, right? Wrong. This isn't elegance. This is control. Because girls who can't walk can't run away. You clench your jaw as a eunuch tightens the bandages, twisting the fabric with clinical indifference. You bite down so hard on your lip you taste blood. Still, you don't scream. Not again. Screaming shows weakness. And weakness is the first step to vanishing. By the time they let you out, your feet are pulp wrapped in silk. They give you slippers, embroidered gold, delicate, a cruel joke. Each step is like walking on knives, but you're expected to glide. Smile. Tilt your head like a porcelain doll. The palace is watching. You limp into your new life through halls lined in silk and shadow. The harem. At first glance, it looks beautiful. Parasols of emerald green, embroidered dragons on every surface, perfume thick in the air like spring mist. But beauty lies. Beneath the jasmine and jade is something meaner, colder, more dangerous. A battlefield. No one tells you the rules. You learn fast or you bleed. Your fellow concubines are not your sisters. They are sharks. Their eyes slice through you, cold, assessing, hungry. You pass them in the corridor and they smile with their mouths, never their eyes. You hear your name whispered before you've even spoken it aloud. Gossip is a weapon here, sharper than any knife. One rumor and you're done. They've all been trained for this. You're armed with nothing but your face. So you make it a weapon. You learn the angle of your smile that looks most innocent. You learn to bow just low enough to flatter but not so low as to seem weak. You practice fluttering your fan like it's a blade. You sit in silence, collecting information like spilled pearls. Every word, every gesture, every glance, a move on the board. Charm, obey, survive. That's the mantra whispered in the dormitories. The 3 words etched behind every smile. You write them into your bones. One girl forgets. She's pretty, bold, smiles too widely at a god. The next day, she's gone. No explanation. Just her slippers left behind, still warm. Someone whispers she was thrown in the moat. Someone else says her body was found in the garden, lips blue from poison. No one really knows. What matters is that she's gone. And now you know what happens when you let your mask slip. The days bleed together. You're assigned to serve a senior consort named Lady Jinjin. She smells like pearls and cinnamon and looks like she's never walked a day in her life. She hates you instantly. You're too young, too new, too pretty. You pour tea for her with trembling hands. The porcelain clinks slightly against the saucer. Her smile doesn't move. Her hand flies out. The slap rings in your ears. Too slow, she says, sipping the tea as if nothing happened. You bow. Lower, lower. Your cheek burns, but you show no pain. Pain is expected. Tears are not. Each morning you scrub her floor until your hands bleed. Each night you massage her feet while your own throb and swell under their bindings. You're meant to disappear into service. To be so good at obedience they forget you're a threat. You learn. Quickly. The hierarchy is brutal and simple. The closer you are to the emperor, the higher you rise. But rise too fast, and someone will drag you down. A girl was dismissed last week for a crooked nose. She wept and begged, but no one even looked twice. Beauty is law here. Symmetry is survival. Your face is not your own anymore. It's currency. Imperfection is death. You begin to understand. Your silk robes aren't rewards. They are leashes. Each outfit they dress you in costs more than your village, but it binds you tighter to this golden cage. You're stitched into your submission. The perfume, the powder, the painted lips, they aren't adornments. They are camouflage. They hide the terror in your bones. One day, a eunuch delivers a fan to you, pale green, lined in silver. A silent message. You're invited to serve at a banquet. This is a test. Banquets mean power, proximity, visibility, but also danger. Every misstep will be seen. One spilled cup, one awkward glance, and you're not just humiliated, you're erased. You think of the girl with the crooked nose and force your hands steady. In the mirror, you don't recognize yourself. Your face is powdered into submission. Your hair is twisted into knots worthy of royalty. Your slippers pinch, silk-stitched with gold dragons curling up your heel. You look like a doll, hollow, elegant, empty. But your mind is sharper than ever. You bow perfectly, pour tea without spilling, smile at nobles without making it flirtation. You glide between tables on mangled feet, wincing behind every graceful step. And still, you remain unseen. And that, for now, is safety. The banquet ends. You return to your quarters. You survived. Barely. You lie in the dark, heart pounding in your ribs, feet throbbing, cheeks still faintly stinging from Lady Jinjin's slap. Tomorrow, it all begins again. But you're still here. The banquet hall breathes like a beast. You feel it before you see it. A swell of music and perfume pressing against your skin, thick with gold dust and tension. Lanterns swing like slow pendulums, each gust of wind a whisper of warning. The floor is polished obsidian. You can see your reflection, and it looks like someone else, powdered, painted, poised. A perfect ghost in silk. Then it comes. Gong. A sound so low it shakes the bones behind your eyes. It doesn't just announce the Emperor's approach. It warns of it. A sound deep as death, vibrating through silk walls and powdered lungs. Conversation dies instantly. Laughter snaps shut like a fan. Eyes drop. Heads bow. The Emperor enters, and with him, the atmosphere tightens. You're holding a wine flask. Your fingers are trembling just enough to notice, but not enough to be seen, or so you hope. A nobleman extends his cup with a grin too wide. Rice wine, staining his teeth. His hand brushes yours. You flinch internally, but your face is carved marble. You pour. The cup overflows slightly. One drop, just one, clings to the rim like a tear. Too much. You feel eyes. Not just any eyes. Hers. The Empress Dowager. The Emperor's mother. A woman whose face was once beautiful, but now resembles cracked porcelain. Sharp, dangerous, impossible to read. She watches you from her throne like a hawk disguised in pearls. Her gaze slides down your spine like a blade. You hide behind your fan. Lower your head. Step back. The senior consort beside you, Lady May, leans in just enough to whisper, "You're still breathing." That's something. Not a compliment. A warning. You survived the banquet, but you didn't win it. Weeks pass. Then the Emperor calls your name. The words echo in your mind for days, louder than the gongs, sharper than the whispers. You are summoned to his chamber, not as a servant, but as a woman. Your slippers scrape the stones as you're carried in a palanquin, stomach churning with dread and strange anticipation. Silk curtains ripple like shrouds. The air inside is thick with incense and something older. Musk and power. He doesn't speak much, but when he does, his voice is soft, the kind of softness that hides steel beneath velvet. Please me, he says, not unkindly, or you'll wish you hadn't. You do. You perform. You survive. When you leave, your body is shaking, but your mask remains. You whisper nothing. You show nothing, not even when you feel the change growing inside you. Weeks later, your hand trembles over your belly, and for the first time since entering the Forbidden City, your fear is matched by something else. Hope. You're pregnant. Jackpot, right? Wrong. Because here, a son is both crown and coffin. Whispers swirl like autumn leaves. She carries the Emperor's heir. A concubine with a child? Dangerous. She'll rise or disappear. They smile at you now, all those consorts who once ignored you. But the smiles are sharp, fake, dipped in poison. You become a chess piece. Valuable, but expendable. Then comes the rumor. Lady Xin, the one with the jade hairpin and voice like honey-rotted fruit, accuses you of poisoning her tea. Says you slipped herbs into her cup in the garden pavilion. Says she fell ill because of you. It's a lie, but in the palace, truth is irrelevant. Only power matters. You're hauled before the Empress Dowager in a courtyard glazed in moonlight. The flagstones are cold beneath your knees. Your feet throb inside their bindings, but you don't flinch. The Empress Dowager's voice is ice-wrapped in silk. Confess, she says, or your son will join you in the dirt. Your throat is dry as ash. You bow so low your forehead kisses stone. You deny it, not with tears, not with rage, but with flat, unbreakable calm. You say, I did not touch the tea. A eunuch steps forward with a whip in hand. Thin, carved bone at the handle, tipped with iron. He waits. A moment from now, that whip could kiss your skin and flay it open. Then a shout. Your maid bursts into the courtyard, dress torn, breath ragged. She holds a letter in her trembling hands. A confession, a bribe, a trap. Lady Xin had paid a eunuch to plant dried monkshood in your quarters. The letter proves it. The Empress Dowager reads. Silence stretches long and sharp. Then she speaks. Take her. They do. You don't look away. Lady Xin screams ripple through the palace as she's dragged across the courtyard. Her jade hairpin clatters to the floor. One of the guards steps on it. The sound is tiny, but it echoes louder than her pleas. You hear it before you see it. SSSSSHHHKK. The executioner's blade slices clean. Her blood pools across the flagstones like spilled ink. History, rewritten. You're spared, but you're not safe. That night, you don't sleep. You cradle your belly and whisper to the life inside. I will not let them take you. The next morning, you send your son away. Not born yet, but soon. A trusted cousin, far outside the palace, will take him when the time comes. It's risky, treasonous, if discovered, but necessary, because here, a son is a declaration of war. You don't want to win this game. You just want your child to survive it. Your breath comes in fits now, wet, ragged, whisper thin. The palace walls gleam with golden dragons and vermilion paint, but you can't smell the jasmine anymore. Only smoke, disease, and fear. You lie on a mat, so worn it's nearly threadbare. Eyes half-lidded, lungs burning like they're filled with hot embers. Your fingers tremble as you reach for the curtain, just enough to catch a glimpse of the corridor. Nothing. No footsteps. No servants. No doctors. They've stopped coming. You're not favored anymore. But he still lives, your son. The boy with eyes like yours and a laugh that once echoed through your quarters before whispers turned into silence. You haven't seen him in months. Not since you made the choice. You remember the night clearly. His fever had broken, but the air in the palace was turning, thick with rumor and something worse. The plague was spreading. Eunuchs were falling dead in their tracks. Concubines vanished overnight, their names struck from records as if they never existed. A scroll landed in your lap with a list of names marked for relocation. You were on it. So was your son. That night, You wrapped him in silk, not because it was warm, but because it was all you had. You kissed his forehead, whispered a lullaby your mother once sang to you, and placed him in the arms of a maid you trusted more than your own shadow. Take him to my cousin in the south. Don't stop. Don't look back. You watched from behind a screen as they slipped into the night. And for the first time since you entered the Forbidden City, you cried without hiding. That was your last act of rebellion. Not seduction, not survival, motherhood. You gave away your only reason for staying alive, because it was the only way to keep him that way. Now, you are hollow, a shell stitched in brocade. Your body is breaking. Your bound feet are infected, the skin peeling in layers, the bones inside curled like claws, misshapen and useless. Every step you've taken in this palace has cost you something: blood, dignity, time. And now it's collecting the debt. Your joints ache from years of kneeling. Your back knots from bowing. Your hair, once glossy and oiled, now tangles like dried weeds. They say beauty is a weapon, but weapons rust. And yours has. You hear laughter down the corridor. High-pitched, youthful, unburdened. The new favorite. She's only 15. She doesn't limp. She doesn't cough. Her perfume still clings to her sleeves instead of being overpowered by sweat and sickness. She's everything you were once. Everything the Emperor now wants again. You close your eyes and try not to hate her. But you do. Not because she replaced you. That's the way of this place. The harem doesn't love. It replaces. You hate her because she's still blind to it. She hasn't seen the knives hidden beneath the silk. Not yet. They no longer summon you to court. The Emperor hasn't spoken your name in months. You are a ghost now, a shadow fading behind the screens, a name they mutter with faint pity and eager relief. The new girls fear you, but not for your power, only for your proximity to death. Your breath rattles again. You cough into your sleeve. This time, there's blood. Dark, sticky, final. The wind outside howls through the gaps in the wood. The palace still gleams, but inside it's rotting. Silk drapes rustle like wings. You imagine knives sharpening behind every curtain. Maybe they are. They always have been. You once believed surviving made you powerful. But now you know the truth. Survival was just the prelude. The harem was never about winning. It was about not losing fast. You taught the younger girls, not out of kindness, but necessity. You told them how to bow without looking weak. How to cry without letting tears fall. How to poison someone without touching their cup. One of them cried when she learned your son had been smuggled out. "He's free," she whispered. You nodded, but you didn't smile, because freedom was something you never got to taste. In your haze, you dream of the village. Before the carriage. Before the silks. Before your feet were shattered into lotus shapes. You dream of dust, sun, and chickens clucking near your ankles. You're barefoot again, and your mother is calling you in for porridge. You are laughing, alive. Then you wake to silence. Footsteps, light, careful. Your maid appears, holding a bowl of warm broth. She's older now, too. The same fear lives in her eyes, but there's something else. Respect. She kneels beside you, lifts the spoon to your lips. You sip. The salt tastes like tears. Your son is well, she whispers. The message came. He is learning to read. He smiles. You let the warmth of that settle in your chest. You've never felt rich in this palace. Not when they dressed you in silks. Not when you bore the emperor's air. Not even when they whispered your name like a prayer. But now you feel it. Because he's alive. And that means you won. That night, the fever takes you fully. You lie on your side, facing the wall. The shadows flicker. Your chest rises once, then twice. Your lips part. A breath slips out. Quiet. Final. They'll bury you in silk, of course. Call an honor. But there will be no parade. No titles chiseled in marble. You are a concubine. A womb. A whisper. But you know better. You were a mother. A survivor. A spark that outwitted the flame. And somewhere beyond the palace walls, a boy lives because you chose pain over safety. You were never free. But he might be.